I was asked to go over my axe collection. What I have here currently, end of June 2015. I don't have a ton. I don't have any crazy expensive, white whales in the group or anything that's super hard to get. Most everything I have came from a thrift store, flea market, junk store, that sort of thing, as well as gifts and hand-me-downs. So I will start by going over, in no particular order. I'm going to do the mauls first. First maul is dirty. I haven't cleaned it up really yet. I use it a little bit. This is a mountain maul, it's called. Maul. I don't know a whole lot about it. You kind of see it there. Not a traditional maul shape for the most part. You can see different, if that's focused, I'm not sure. Pattern to it. It is embossed with mountain maul in a mountain. Came across this at a thrift store. Just thought it was neat looking. I was looking for a maul. I was hoping to destroy the rest of this handle out of it. Splitting wood and then held up somehow. But this is on the list to be rehandled. So that's the mountain maul. Standard little maul here. Nothing too fancy, no name. I believe it's a 3-pound maul. I rehandled, stained the handle. It was lacquered. I didn't get all the lacquer off. I was just doing a quick job so I could finish splitting wood. And I did stain it, I believe, with rusty vinegar. So that's just a standard 3-pound maul. Nothing fancy about that. Back in here. Okay. This is the one and only Chopper 1. You can see that there. It has levers that once they hit the wood, it opens up. So these levers do come open, one on each side. Not sure how good the lighting is there. It looks pretty dark on the one side. And supposedly helps split the wood open. Instead of using a hammer and wedges, this does it all in one action. It is embossed a little bit there with the Chopper 1 logo. This is a original handle. They started, I believe, in the mid to late 70s, then went up through the 80s, and stopped making them during the 80s, and they actually came back. You can buy one now, brand new, online for 88 bucks at, I think it was chopper1.com, chopper1axe.com, I believe. I've yet to use this one. Could use a little fixing on the blade edge itself, but other than that, it's not in bad shape. Springs seem decent. Paint's worn off the logo. It's a little old spider nest in the where the springs go, and the top and the bottom. But all in all, not in horrible shape. I may end up putting that up for sale at some point, or I may hang on to it. I was kind of excited when I did see it because I hadn't seen one in person. But that's the Chopper 1 maul. And that is all the mauls I have. And I'll go on to something else. Okay, I'll just show you a few of the small ones that I rehandled. I'll start with this fire axe. This is a small fire axe. I believe to be a Pexto, P-E-X-T-O. Vintage head. Found at the junk store. Not a bad, a little pitted, but it kind of adds to the the vintageness of it. Anyway, this is also stained with rusty vinegar. I put a bunch of coats on this one. I just wanted to see how dark I could get it. And it turned almost a reddish brown. I think it'll get darker if you keep going. And then I just burnt the neck and the foot here just for something to do, to add a little different color to it. I don't know how well you can see that. I'm going to try to take some pictures of these and add them in. So that's a little Pexto small fireman's axe on a, I believe that's a Boy Scout axe handle. A little work to get it to fit right, but I don't think it looks too terribly bad on there. Big head, little body. Nothing wrong with that. Okay. Moving on. My one and only double bit. This is the first one I rehandled. This is my father's old Craftsman. I did a video on this. If you look back through my videos, I do have one rehandling an axe, and it is this one. Just threw a little orange on the end, just for the heck of it. You set it down somewhere in the woods, you see it. On a job site, you know it's yours. So, because of that, I did a matching, if I can get it out here, sledgehammer. Nothing fancy on the sledge. 8-pound sledge. I did I can spin it here, matching bottom to it, just so you know what's mine. These are users. Not much for a wall hanger. This is something I'd actually go out either during a landscaping job or whatever in the yard, in the woods, and I won't feel bad using them. Let's see here. Just go right down the line. Small vintage head, no name. I did like the shape of it. It's kind of nice, I thought. There are some looks like stress cracks possibly from it being forged. If I put it on a framing hammer handle, I figure this would be a nice little kindling chopper. Get 2 hands on it if you need. Little hammer head. Nice little camp axe there. Okay, there. Moving down. This is the first hatchet that I handled. This is a True Temper tomahawk. Picked it up at a consignment store last year or so. The handle is stained with rusty vinegar a little bit, and I believe I used tobacco stain on this as well. I have a video on the DIY stains up that I posted this year. Nice little hatchet for the camp, and then I just made a really quick Kydex cover for it so I could slip it into my pack before I went out without cutting anything up. Nothing fancy, just 3 rivets. Just threw together in under 5 minutes probably. Okay. So there's that. Okay, I'll show you. This is the other one I stained in that DIY video. This is my grandfather's old Cullens red seal. Nice little hatchet. I use this a lot for, carving, just doing small chores, kindling, stuff like that around the campsite. This is my go-to hatchet. It's a little bit thinner handle than the last, and I just like the way it feels, the way it looks. I did do a little burning around the neck and around the very bottom of the foot there and the top. But it's a nice little hatchet. This is my go-to. This is a keeper for me, for sure. Since I'm talking about hand-me-downs from the family, this is one I'm yet to handle. This is a Walters Black Diamond. Nice little size there. I will probably carve a handle for that. That's in the plans anyway, unless I come across an exceptional little handle for it somewhere else. It's a little thin. You go a little bit thicker. That's a nice little head, nice shape to it. Back there, get a little blade here on it. It's hard to see there. Oh. But nice little hatchet. Nice length. Some good for the pack for a weekend camping trip. So that's a keeper as well. Once I get a good handle on it. That's the Walters Black Diamond. I have this separated. Big stuff on one side, hatchets on the other side. I have some heads hanging, and then back here I have some things that need rehandled. So moving on, we'll do a little tomahawk action. This is nothing fancy. This is the SOG, what do they call it? Fast Hawk, I believe. But I did do a little, wish I had some white here. Did do a little paracord wrap on it. And then I dipped the bottom of the handle in a rubber dip, like rubber coating, and a little hand lanyard on it, so when you're whacking at stuff, you don't lose it, you know. That's it, nothing too fancy. Standard sheath it comes with, but it's in my rack here. Okay. This is my first mod I did. This is an old, that's a story about this one. This head here, I came across it in a junk store and I got excited, didn't see a name on it. It was old vintage something or other, you know, looked like a nice little head, but I didn't like it, so I wanted to change it. I was all pumped up that weekend about doing a mod, you know, modding out a hatchet head, cutting it apart, see what I can make out of it. This is what I made out of it, a little tomahawk, hammer hawk, however you want to call it. And it wasn't until I got it cut that I finished getting the rest of the rust off. Very lightly, I could see something that said Glass Axe Co. So I went online, asked some people what could Glass Axe Co. be, and they say Douglas Axe Company, which went out of business in, I believe, around 1839. So yeah, this is old hatchet head. Now it's a cut apart old hatchet head into a little tomahawk. I like to call it a forage hawk, just because that's what I would probably use it for, is toss in my pack. It's small, it's lightweight. Use it for foraging, cutting chaga off, fat wood, you know, whatever I need for camp chores. And this is the original handle I made for it. Nothing fancy, just a random piece of hardwood I found in my firewood pile. Shaved it down. Originally I could slide the head onto it all the way up to the top and keep it separate in my pack as a stick and a head, you know, so it wasn't all together, taking up extra space. But it was a little loose, and it had to be real thin to fit into the eye hole there. So I got rid of that idea and put it on this hammer handle. And I sanded it down and I roughed it up with a rasp just to give it a little bit more of a vintage look. I think I did 1 coat or so of rusty vinegar. I'm just hooked on that stuff for some reason. And just boiled linseed oil on all the handles that I did. And that's it. That's all I did to it. Put a big thick wedge in there. There's no metal wedge. I kind of like the look. Yeah, it's not bad. Okay, moving on. Got this little bearded guy. This is also a mod. This is the second mod I did. This was a old carpenter's hatchet, and I cut it apart at an angle. So I got the blade. This is about the whole size of the blade was, and then there's a hammerhead off to this side. And I'll show you what I did with that in a second. So that's that. I'm thinking maybe a paracord wrap around the top there, but it'd be nice for carving, getting in, you know, whatever you need to do real small. Short little handle, real light, nice for the pack. Again, a little forage hawk. little bearded tomahawk, Viking style, whatever you want to call it. But nice little tomahawk. And the hammerhead side became this. Okay, you can see how it went together. Something along these lines here. You can see that. Something like that, and I still cut out the beard. But, little tomahawk. And a hammeroon, or a warhammer. I prefer to call it a warhammer. Basically, what it is a spike on one end, hammerhead on the other end, and great for bashing zombies with, you know. I believe that's about an 18-inch handle. This was an old double bit axe handle, I believe meant for my father's, or from my father's double bit. But why not recycle instead of buying something new and cutting it apart? Carved down the hand a little bit, wrapped it with some paracord, wrapped the top with a little paracord, and I ended it with a couple of beads and long pieces of paracord hanging out just because I thought it was neat looking. And this is the first one, probably the only one, you can't really see it too well, but I did a cross wedge in the top there, both made out of wood, a thick one and a thin one, and it was just something to try and see what it would look like, you know. So that is that. That's a nice size, you know. You gotta smash a watermelon or something. Alright, so that's that. Slide it in there. Moving on to other hatchets that need to be handled. Okay. This is a Fulton Tools hatchet. I couldn't stop myself the other day, a week or two ago, at a junk store. Picked up two hatchets. This was one of them, and I picked up this hatchet and the chopper one, and the guy said, "Oh, I have two more behind the counter," and he pops out two more, and I ended up buying them too. So I might have a problem. But here's Fulton Tools. Turns out Fulton Tools was a precursor to Craftsman. A little vintage head. I don't know a year on this, but not a bad little guy. Could use some work on the blade. Probably a new handle. You could probably pop that out pretty easy. But not bad, all in all. A little bit of mushrooming on the back, but could use some work yet. I haven't done anything to these next few, including my dad's, that I already showed you. My dad's Walter, Black Diamond. That probably would make a handle for, clean it up, make it all pretty, excuse me. Okay. No name, as far as I can tell right now anyway. Carpenter's hatchet, old looking, kinda maybe vintagey, is it a word? But something to play around with. Nothing fancy. Come across a lot of those type. Another, kind of digging the handle shape on this guy. This is a Stanley Handyman carpenter's hatchet or roofing hatchet. I've heard them called the same thing. This guy will get a new handle and cleaned up. A lot of these little ones like this, not the too expensive ones, but not the cheapo junk either, are probably going to go to my niece and nephews for camping with me, possibly. Either as gifts or when we're out, something they can screw around with and help cut firewood with, that sort of thing. Yeah, so that on the back. I got one more I picked up. This is a Union Tools, real small. You know, it's not all that bad. Probably won't do too much to it. There's a Union Tools sticker on there. I'll probably clean up the head, possibly sand down the handle, clean that up, stain it, or just put some oil on it. And I don't know, either hand that down to somebody or toss that online for sale. Small, and I don't hate the handle. It looks funny to me, but it's actually fairly comfortable for that size. Something that, you know, your hand's not going to slide off of. It's not too bad, but that's that one. Union tools. Okay, now this guy here, this little head, I'm waiting for that right handle for it I come across. This is a SA Wetterlings drop forged hatchet head. Nothing too fancy about it. You know, they make some of the best hatchets and axes on the market today, I guess, from what I read. This is their drop forged model, which is a cheaper model, since it's not hand forged, and I believe the hand forged refers to actually using a machine to hammer out the metal, where drop forge is something totally different. Okay, that's that. This is a Stanley carpenter's hatchet again. Nice shape, not too bad. Wait for a handle. This guy is a True Temper genuine Underhill little roofer's hatchet. Needs a handle, of course. Most of them do. I think I paid, won't tell anybody, I think I paid $2 for this. Just could use a little cleaning up. Has somebody's name engraved in the side of it, initials on the other side of it. But other than that, looks pretty good. I got it fairly clean, not too bad. Here's the another no-name carpenter's hatchet. This one I think I'm gonna mod a little bit. I think I am going to do something along the lines of a beard. I don't know how much of this you can see. Cut a little beard into it, something like that. Maybe point out the bottom. Not sure yet. Keep the hammerhead, maybe reshape it a little bit. Actually, with this one, since I want to make it a carving hatchet, I'm going to do a lot of reshaping to the hammerhead. And I want to try to make this into more of an adze, like a bowl adze. So I'll toss it in the forge, hammer it flat, and then hammer it round a little bit. Maybe lengthen the hair, draw it out a little bit, and then create a bowl adze out of it, just for carving bowls. So that's that. Commonly, if I'm trying to think of how I want to redesign a head, I'll use a dry erase marker, and I'll draw all over it, and then for the most part, if it's nice and clean, it'll erase nice. If not, a little bit of alcohol cleans it up, so you don't see what I just drew off. Okay, two more. These two here. Purchased one was given to me. The bigger one was given to me. And I believe these are going to become matching father-son axes. I say father-son because one's bigger and one's smaller. I think I'm going to cut them similar way. And I'm going to get 2 war hammers out of it, the way I have planned. Get my marker again. The way I'm thinking is going to be something along the lines of, you can see that, straight across here and down. So then you'll have the top part that goes into an axe with less weight to it, and the bottom part, which will remain a hammerhead, sort of on this side. I may contour it a little bit better, and then you'll have a little hooked spike on this side, and it'll just cut into the hardened area. As long as I do it correctly, I will keep that ring to it. Slow cutting with the angle grinder, cut off wheel, lots of water, lots of breaks. That's how I've done it before, and I've maintained the ring that you want to keep. So I'm planning on doing that with both that big head and this little one. Let's see here. This is just a thing for the garden. I can't, it's blowing my mind right now. We have this little cheapo guy. Looks like you know, it was molded. It wasn't forged by any means. There's seams all over it. The seam's broken in the back. I haven't figured out what I'm going to do with this yet. It might just be a paperweight. And I do have one back here that I'm going to make a video on, hopefully this weekend or so. This is a double bit. This is not mine. I'm rehandling it for a co-worker. His son found this 30 years ago or something in a creek laying there, and they've kept it ever since, and it's just been sitting in the garage. Sweet duct tape handle, duct tape fawn's foot. It's all mushy at the end. It's one thing that got me. There's no wedge whatsoever inside here. So I don't know if it was originally, the head was slid on and all the way down through the handle, because it's fairly thin down here. It's just layers and layers of duct tape building it up, it feels like. And maybe not. Or if somehow it was forced onto this and through pressure held on. But there's no wedge in there, and it's on there pretty tight. I've whacked at it a few times, but that is going to get a new handle. And this, in case you're curious, is a Keystone. It says Keystone Forged Steel. I don't know what it is, but I live in the Keystone state of Pennsylvania, and I actually wouldn't mind having that head for myself. Cleaned up, maybe as a wall hanger, above a doorway, on a wall of axes, over the hearth, if I had a hearth to hang it over. It's pretty cool old double bit. And here's what I'm missing, this one. This guy is the one and only axe that I carved a full handle for. So I did carve this handle. This was another junk store find. This is a White House Brothers number 4 axe head. Kind of like a small forest axe. It's up a little bit. A small forest axe. I made the handle. I tried to copy the original handle, which I have in this bucket here, which is this one. And I didn't hit it exactly, and I made it a bit thicker. But I came pretty close, I thought. You know, close enough for my first time. You can see that. I learned some lessons along the way, like not to cut this angle until you're done and have it the head on, because that's hard to smack with a hammer when it's angled like that. But so this is little White House Brothers. I believe they went out of business in the 1800s as well. And this one, I believe, belonged to some company, and they threw it out, and you can see it's stamped in here twice, the word waste, like as in garbage, I would assume, so they know what is garbage that they throw out at the company and all that. But not bad little axe here. I used it last time I went camping, or not the last time, time before. Worked out well. The handle is stained two-tone. I was going to put a stripe in the middle and try to make it all fancy, and that wasn't panning out for me. So the bottom is mostly rusty vinegar again. And the top started out to be a tobacco, and I went to a commercial walnut stain on the top. And then after that, it didn't work out so well with my stripe down the middle. I tried to blend it, and it's blended pretty well on this side. This side you can see a little bit of an edge. More of a straight line, but not too bad. Nothing, you know, it still works as an axe, so that's what counts. Just a hardwood wedge in the middle. No metal wedge. I'll probably put one in there. It does move a hair when you're using it after a while. So I may add one to that. But I figured for the first time I ever carved a handle, it turned out pretty well. I'm going to make a similar handle to match that old Walters Black Diamond. Not too bad. I kind of like the look of the old metal with the light pitting and all that. It has a cool look over the super shiny, you know, handles. So that was my one and only so far carved hatchet handle. I do have some pieces of wood Got the wood from my uncle. It's ash, not too bad. He milled it himself at the local trees. This is probably going to go to some sort of a carving hatchet handle. And I got a big piece back there for something else. Okay, I'll just explain to you my stand.